There are winning teams, there are champion teams, and then there are teams that become part of a nation's identity. The modern Springboks belong to that final category. They are not simply a rugby team representing South Africa on the international stage. For millions of supporters, they have become a symbol of pride, resilience, unity, and belief. Every major victory creates celebrations that stretch far beyond the rugby field. Every successful season strengthens a bond between players and supporters that few teams in world sport can match. Yet while fans enjoy one of the greatest eras in Springbok history, the man responsible for much of that success wakes up every day thinking about a nightmare that refuses to leave his mind. It is a nightmare that has nothing to do with a last-minute defeat, a controversial refereeing decision, or a lost trophy. For Rassie Erasmus, the real fear is far bigger. His greatest concern is the possibility that the Springboks could one day return to being a team known for losing rather than winning. It is a thought that drives him, challenges him, and motivates him every single day. To many people, that fear may sound surprising. After all, the Springboks are currently sitting among the elite teams in World Rugby. They are back-to-back Rugby World Cup champions. They have built one of the deepest squads in the game. They continue to defeat some of the strongest nations in international rugby. On the surface, there appears to be little reason for concern. But Erasmus knows something that every great leader understands. Success can create comfort, and comfort can become dangerous. The moment a team starts believing that success is guaranteed, the decline often begins. That is why he remains constantly alert. While supporters celebrate what the Springboks have achieved, he is focused on protecting what has been built. The reason this fear exists can be traced back to one of the most painful periods in South African rugby history. Before the trophies, before the celebrations, and before the global admiration, there was disappointment. Following the 2015 Rugby World Cup, the Springboks entered a difficult chapter that tested the patience and belief of supporters across the country. Results became inconsistent. Confidence began to disappear. The aura that once surrounded the team slowly faded. Week after week, questions grew louder. Could the team recover? Could South African rugby return to the level supporters expected? The numbers told a troubling story. Victories became harder to find, defeats became more frequent, and a team famous for winning suddenly found itself battling a reputation it had never experienced before. When Rassie Erasmus returned from Ireland in 2018 after coaching Munster, he walked into a situation that required far more than tactical adjustments. The challenge was psychological, cultural, and emotional. South Africa did not simply need better performances. It needed renewed belief. The national team needed to rediscover its identity. Players needed confidence. Supporters needed hope. The task facing Erasmus was enormous, but what followed would become one of the greatest rebuilding stories in modern rugby. Step by step, match by match, the transformation began. Standards were raised. Accountability increased. Competition within the squad intensified. Players embraced a vision that demanded excellence in every area. The results gradually improved, and with each victory, confidence returned. The turning point eventually arrived on the sport's biggest stage, the Rugby World Cup. In 2019, the Springboks achieved something extraordinary by lifting the Webb Ellis Cup and reclaiming their place at the top of world rugby. For many teams, that achievement alone would have been enough. But the story was only beginning. 4 years later, South Africa successfully defended its world title, becoming back-to-back champions and cementing its place among rugby's greatest dynasties. The celebrations that followed were unforgettable. Streets filled with supporters. Families gathered around televisions. Children dreamed of one day wearing the famous green and gold jersey. Across South Africa, there was a sense that the Springboks represented something larger than sport itself. They represented possibility. They represented resilience. They represented a nation capable of overcoming challenges and achieving greatness. This emotional connection is exactly why Erasmus fears losing it. His nightmare is not the loss of a match. It is the loss of that feeling. During a deeply honest conversation with Siya Kolisi, Erasmus explained that one of the most rewarding parts of coaching the national team is seeing how happy people become when the Springboks are successful. He spoke about everyday encounters that reveal the impact of rugby on ordinary lives. A supporter at a petrol station. A handshake from a stranger. A smile from someone who feels proud to be associated with the team. These moments matter because they remind him that success creates more than headlines. It creates hope. It creates excitement. It gives people something positive to rally behind. For Erasmus, the fear is not personal. He is not worried about protecting his reputation. He is worried about protecting what the team means to the country. He remembers exactly how different things felt when the Springboks were struggling. He remembers the criticism. He remembers the disappointment. Most importantly, he remembers how quickly public confidence disappeared. That experience left a lasting impression. It taught him that success in professional sport is fragile. It can take years to build and only a short time to lose. No one understands that reality better than Siya Kolisi. As captain, he experienced both the darkness and the triumph. He knows what it feels like to represent a team under immense pressure. Reflecting on those difficult years, Kolisi admitted that it was painful. Players dreamed of representing South Africa, yet there were moments when supporters struggled to believe in the team. The atmosphere around matches felt different. The excitement was missing. The pride was fading. Those memories remain powerful because they highlight how dramatic the transformation has been. Today, the picture could not be more different. The Springboks are one of the most admired teams in world rugby. Their success has inspired supporters not only in South Africa but across the globe. South Africans living overseas often describe the confidence they feel when the national team performs well. Success creates pride that extends beyond sport. It becomes part of everyday conversations. It strengthens national identity. It gives people a reason to celebrate together regardless of background or circumstance. Few teams possess that kind of influence. Yet even as victories continue to arrive, Erasmus refuses to relax. While others focus on winning streaks, rankings, and upcoming fixtures, he focuses on potential threats. He constantly evaluates every aspect of the environment around the team. He thinks about preparation. He thinks about culture. He thinks about communication. He thinks about anything that could influence performance. This relentless attention to detail explains why the Springboks have remained at the highest level for so long. Great teams are not built by accident. They are built by leaders who refuse to accept complacency. As South Africa prepares for another crucial chapter, including major tests against Argentina and the legendary rivalry clashes with the All Blacks. Expectations remain enormous. Supporters want victories. Rivals want to end South Africa's momentum. Analysts continue debating whether this could become one of the greatest Springbok generations ever assembled. But while the rugby world discusses results, Rassie Erasmus is focused on a much bigger mission. He is fighting to preserve a culture. He is protecting a standard. He is defending an identity that has taken years to create. He understands that every successful era eventually faces challenges, and he knows the danger of assuming success will continue automatically. That is why he keeps pushing. That is why he keeps planning. That is why he continues searching for improvements even when the team is winning. The most fascinating part of his mindset is that his greatest fear has become his greatest strength. The fear of becoming a losing team again is what keeps him motivated. It is what drives him to demand more from himself, his coaches, and his players. It is what prevents complacency from entering the environment. While some leaders are motivated by success, Erasmus is motivated by the determination to avoid failure. He remembers what losing felt like. He remembers what it did to the team's reputation. He remembers how quickly confidence disappeared. And because he remembers, he refuses to allow history to repeat itself. That may be the secret behind the modern Springboks. Not talent alone. Not tactics alone.